Is the cat in the box alive or dead? Yeah. If you open the box, you'll learn the answer. You will learn the truth. However, until you open the box, you can claim that the cat is alive, and you can also claim that it is dead. Both claims are the correct truth according to the people making them. And even though the two sides are in conflict, neither can win the argument as long as the box remains unopened. In other words, two truths can exist at the same time. Is this gonna come back to that red text shit? Is that what this is gonna come back to? She can, like, give off two red truths, but they could possibly just because she says something in red doesn't mean the other thing is false, because you don't know for sure until you see the truth. Is that where we're going with this? To even like, yo, if I say it in red, it means it's absolutely true. But yo, like she said, we live in a realm where two truths can exist simultaneously. I don't like where this is going because it's gonna fuck with my head too much. Please tell me it's not going there. It's one thing to get like the red text back. Okay, here's a definitive piece of thing to base a theory off of. But it's like, not necessarily. It's like, motherfucker, don't do this to me. Now I gotta constantly be second guessing everything I fucking see. I already second guess everything I fucking see, but now like the one thing I've been able to latch on to, like this is the solid truth that I can absolutely believe in. It's like, it isn't though. What if it isn't? Because what if the opposite is also true, and you don't know until you see what actually happened? And it's like, even though there can only be one cat in the box, it is packed with a living cat and a dead cat, forming a strange, separate world. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. That is what Rokkenjima is now. This island is now a different world where a scientific theory and a magical one can exist at the same time. I don't like it. To a resident of the world of science such as yourself, at a glance you may feel as though this island has been sucked into a world of magic. That might not be wrong, but it is not accurate. Strictly speaking, it has been moved from the world of science to the gap between that world and the world of magic. So at a glance it appears to you as though the world is tilted towards the magical side. But in reality, this island is now in a perfectly impartial position with relation to those two opposing worlds. Wow. I don't like where this is going. I really don't like where this is going.
よくわからねえ。現実と魔法の中間？限りなく公平な世界？どこがだよ。俺に圧倒的に不利な展開ばっかりじゃねえかよ。
Only because you've been believing the truths she gives you. She's giving you the magical truths. You need to use the scientific truths.
ならばこう考えるといいでしょう。これは裁判です。あなたとベアトリーチェが相反する主張を繰り広げている法廷だと考えるのです。ブラウン管裁判でもいいでしょう。あの子はブラウン管の中には妖精が入っているとし、そして中に入っているどのような魔力を持っているのかを次々に説明する。そしてあなたは
まあ図書館で勉強してブラウン管の構造を説明して反論するだろうよ。
この瞬間法廷にはあなたの主張とあの子の主張が同時に、もしもあの子の主張に耳を傾けたならそれはあたかも真実に聞こえてしまうかもしれない。あなたはまさにそれを見せつけられた。今この瞬間のロッケン島には確かに魔女も魔法も真実として存在するかもしれない。しかしそれは猫の箱が開かれる瞬間までの不確定な全ての状態が同時に説明できる。しかし真実は一つです。それは観測されることによって収縮し、無数の真実が淘汰されてたった一つの真実になる。法廷で例えるならばこれは裁判長による判決行為にも似ているでしょう。検察側、弁護側がそれぞれに主張する2つの真実は判決によって収縮し一つとなるのです。
あんたの言葉を借りると、今のこの島はブラウン管の中を覗く直前の世界ってわけなんだな。だからこそ科学説も魔法説もどちらも否定できない。否定できないってことはつまり、
どちらも真実として存在できる。だから魔女も魔法も、しかし同時にそれを否定するあなたの意見もまた相反する2つが同時に存在できる世界。
I don't like that.
そして相反する真実が互いを否定する理由にできない世界。
Conflicting truths cannot disprove each other.
理解できてきましたか？
No.
つまりベアトがどんなすげえ魔法を俺に見せ、それは魔法説の主張でしかなく、俺を否定することには当たらない。
Okay. I guess I kind of see where you're going now.
ベアトがどんな魔法を俺に見せようとも、この世界ではそれをもって魔法が存在する証拠にはなり得ないってことか。
そうです。あの子は木からリンゴが落ちることすらも魔法で説明しようとするでしょう。あの子は一見杖を振るって大地に落としたかのように主張するかもしれない。しかしそれはあの子の主張の一つに過ぎないのです。あの子のいかなる主張もあなたの主張する機会を拒むこと、その意味においてこの世界は双方にあまりに公平なのです。
なるほどな。
I wish I didn't get it.
だがよ、
The fact that I get it hurts my brain even more.
その論法で言ったなら、たとえ俺が科学説で正論をし、奴の魔法説と正面衝突を起こすだけで俺もまた奴を論破できない。しかもそのファイナルジャッジはブラウン管を除かない限りつかない。この世界のブラウン管はどこにあるんだ。
That's what I would like to know.
俺たちに議論なんて必要ないってことになる。俺たちは仲良くブラウン管の中身を覗けばいいだけの話じゃねえのか。
Because that's how's getting along gonna keep her entertained. She's here to be entertained, my guy.
中に妖精が本当にいたら俺の全面敗北だ。いなかったら逆に俺の勝ち。俺たちはブラウン管を覗かずにどうして論争を繰り、
それこそがあの子があなたに挑んだゲームなのです。裁判ではなくチェスと例えるべきでしょう。
Oh, great. Yes, use chess. Yeah, I love chess analogies. We haven't had enough of those, actually. Yeah, I was just thinking we could use more chess analogies.
勝敗は裁判官が決めるのではない。戦っているあなたたち自身が決めるのです。
真実が同時に存在できるめちゃくちゃな世界に
I
相
would.
手を論破なんてできる。
Yeah, how?
現にあなたは論破されて今こうして屈服していますよ。
What's so funny?
今私に助言できるのは、もしもあなたが望むなら時折助言を与えましょう。
Appreciate it.
ああ、ありがとう。助かるぜ。
Really helps.
あんたの仇も俺がと。
ありがとう。期待していますよ。
あんた名前は？
ベアトリーチェはかつて私の名でしたが譲ってしまった今、私はならば仮の名でも名乗りましょう。ワルギリアス。
Virgilius.
いえ、ワルギリアではいかがです？
Virgilia.
ワルギリア？ワルキュリア？神話の女神の名前だっけか？
いいえ、ベアトリーチェのもとへ導くものという意味です。
Like fucking Virgil. Yeah. Like Virgil in the story of Dante's Inferno. The guide. Yeah. I see you.
煉獄さんの頂上にて待つあの子のもと
Of
へ
Mount
あな
Purgatory.
たを導く。その案内人にふさわしい名前です。
Sure is.
魔女を否定する俺が 魔女の助けを借りるとはな。なるほど。異なる主張が同時に存在できるこの矛盾した世界ならそれもありってわけだ。笑える話だぜ。
I'm not laughing, but
言葉を借り
okay.
るけど、本当にあなたは不死鳥のような人ね。戦う気力がもう蘇ってきた。さあ、心の準備がいいなら、あの子の座するチェス盤の勝負、私の弟子とどこまで戦えるか楽しみにしていますよ。
ああ、見てろよ。もうあいつの寝言には耳を貸さねえ。とことん冷静に俺の戦いを貫い、もうあいつの挑発には絶対に乗らね
え。では戻りましょう。戦いの席へ。
イエーイ。
おお、バトラー。
I love that brief fucking moment her face is like, oh.
そなたどこへ姿を消しておったの。負け犬は二度と姿を現さないかと。
Good thing I'm not a loser, even though I definitely lost last time. Fuck you.
待たせたな。頭を冷やしてきたぜ。
それでわらわとお師匠様の愉快痛快爽快大喝采の素敵ファンタジーバトルへの回答は出たのかい。あんなのファンタジー以外じゃ説明不能だろう。
I can't wait for him to just say something that totally just throws her off. I love those moments the most, where he just says something and she's just kind of like, like, even if it's like something that's not logical at all, he just says some shit and she's, huh?
お嬢さん、さっき親切で上品にするとお誓いになられたばかりですよ。
いけねえいけん。バトラの顔を見てるとついつい上機嫌になってしまうものでね。
Yes, I'm so glad to see my opponent's face once more. That's all it was. Just happy to see him.
ほれほれほれ。それでバトラー、さっきの戦いだがどういう反応を示してみせるよ。
バトル？何があったって？
Yep, there it is. It's exactly what I was waiting for. What battle? Bruh, every time I see this face, I fucking lose my shit. I love it. Just, huh? Oh my god. Oh, it's just great.
このバラ庭園のどこにお前らがニョキニョキ生やした塔がどこに転がってんだねえじゃないか。つまりこいつがブラウン
Yeah, she's not gonna get that. She's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Brawn tubes.
ブラウン管の
Yeah, the fuck?
一体何の話を始めるやら。
今この瞬間バラ庭園には何もない。さっきまでは魔法で塔が生えていただがそれはブラウン管の中。魔法バトルはお前の解釈主張に過ぎない。今この場に何もないのがその証拠だ。俺はさっきの魔女の戦いにこう反論する。今この場に何もないのは何事もなかったことの証明だとな。
I don't care what her fucking response is to it. I love that.
あのな、さすがに第一の番から大暴れはできぬし。
Yeah, sure. Whatever you gotta
彼ら
say.
も被害を及ぼさないため、結界の中で戦っだから現実には何の影響も与えていないのは。
Right, and that's her magical theory, right? Uh-huh. Okay, okay.
それがお前の主張だ。それもありだろうな。だが今この瞬間のバラ庭園に何もだから魔法などなかったという俺の主張を何ら妨げるものではな。
おいおい、そんなめちゃくちゃに魔法を否定できるのか。魔法がないは証明不能。 悪魔の証明であるぞ。
今この瞬間のこのバラ庭園が真実だ。覗いた瞬間にブラウン管の中の妖精は蒸発する。
I love he keeps going back to the brown tube analogy. She doesn't know at all what the fuck he's talking about.
そしてここには何の魔法の痕跡もない。だからお前らの魔女の戦いは行われなかった。
なんだ、その返してその力を、もしや
お忘れですか？多層世界収縮術です。無限の魔女の力と対になる有限の魔女の力。無限の魔女にしか悟ることができず、そして無限の魔女にとって最も強力な
シュレディンガーの猫箱か。
Dear God, no.
老いぼれ魔女め、余計な入れ知恵を。
時間をロスった。
I honestly like this even more too. Like the fact that he's not like overly arrogant about it, like he was in episode 2. You know, with the whole chapel incident, the whole chapel thing where he was like constantly going at her, like, yeah, this and this and this. This time he's just like, yeah, I see no magic here in the courtyard, therefore no magic. And she's still just like, oh my God, what? He can't counter me like that, can he? What? And he's like, look at this garden. I see no magic, therefore no magic.
使用人5人とじい様で6人の死体。状況を確認させてもらうぜ。俺がもたもたしてて時間を無駄にしちまった。ここからはサクサクいくぜ。席につけ、ベアトリーチェ。ようやく第一の番じゃねえか。本番スタートだぜ。どんと来やがれ。
I like this more like reserved confidence. Like, yeah, he just shouted there at the end, but like, yo, he's confident, but he's not like, I will beat your fucking ass. I will fucking deny you to the end. I fucking will never believe in witches. He's just like, let's begin the game, shall we? Let's go. And I'm just like, yes, yes. I love it. I love the fact that he's I think that's like the borderline between confidence and arrogance. He's confident in going forward, but he's not like overly cocky, like, yeah, I got this shit in the bag, I'm gonna prove all you fuckers don't exist, alright, this is easy peasy. No, now he's just like, let's get the show on the road, let's go, game on, bitch. I love it, I love it, I love it. Let's go. And we're back to Shannon. Forget what the adults expected. At least for us kids. These were supposed to be a fun couple of days where the cousins deepened their friendship. However, when we woke up, there was unbelievably cruel reality waiting for us. Right. Of course, Jessica's gonna find out Canon's dead. George's gonna find out Shannon's dead. That's gonna be painful. I don't think any of them really have any close ties to the other four, but yeah. George, Annika, and Jessica were crying over Shannon-chan and Kanon-kun's deaths. Right now, everyone who was alive had gathered in the lobby on the first floor of the guest house. And there were 12 people there. Unbelievable, right? There were 18 until yesterday. And in one night, a third of that number had lost their lives. I eventually sobered up from my agitation, and, along with my lack of sleep from being awoken up so early in the morning, I was beginning to feel a faint sense of unreality. I want to think this is some kind of bad dream. My cheap escapism keeps telling me that over and over. Maria had gone back to sleep on the sofa Rosa was sitting in. Rather than her having nerves of steel, she probably genuinely hadn't had enough sleep. Oh! Rudolph got the gun now. The adults were holding items from what was apparently grandfather's collection. Short-barrel Winchester rifles. Oh, they all got guns? Apparently relics from a time he'd been obsessed with westerns. There were 4 guns altogether. Oh, let me guess, all the siblings have guns. Rudolph, Kraus, Rosa, and Ava. Those have been split up among the 4 siblings. Uncle Kraus, Aunt Eva, my dad, and Aunt Rosa. Yep. Paper boxes filled with bullets lay on the table, and the siblings were silently loading them.
なんだか怖い。こいつに触ってると、触るなって怒鳴られて、ぶん殴られるような気がするぜ。
So did they find Kinzo then?
ならよかったな。
Because they said that they found that 6 people were confirmed dead. But then, when we last checked in, they had only found 5 magical circles. So did they find the 6th one in the 6th body, or was like Kinzo hidden in his study then, or like... What's going on here?
いくら触ってももう殴られることはない。
信じられないわ、あのお父様がこんな最後を迎えるなんて。
金蔵さんに限って普通に床で亡くなるようなことはないだろうと思っていました。それにしてもむごす
ぎる。ねえ、あれは本当にお父様なのかしら。
Right, because let me guess, it was the boiler room again, right? So therefore, charred remains.
別人の死体でごまかした替え玉を疑ってるんだけど。いいえ。足の指をご覧になったでしょう。世間広しといえど、両足の指が6本の人間は。でも、いないとも言えない。
I mean, it's not impossible, but come on.
多死症は珍しくない病気だと聞いたわ。大仕掛けの大好きな方なんでしょ。どこかで両足の指の数が自分と同じな遺体を手配したかもしれないわ。バカバカしい。そんなこと何のためにするというのですか。
普通の人にならわしもそう。しかしあのお父さんや桐江さんの話も全くの口頭無形とは言い切れんのやないか。
焼死体は身元の確認が難しいという。歯型とか骨格とかいろいろ調べる方法はあるはずさ。警察が調べれば一発で身元なんかわかるに決まってる。
問題は警察より先に電話技師が必要だという点だがね。
この台風じゃ船は来られないでしょうね。なら明日になるのかしら。
おそらく明日の9時にもう一度船が来てくれるでしょう。そこで警察に連絡できると思います。私たちも、そして犯人も、つまりは台風が通り過ぎるまでこの島に閉じ込められたってわけね。
Just from our parents' conversation, you can probably figure out the general gist, but let's explain the situation anyway. Yeah, please fill me in. I know where we found Shannon. I can, reasonably infer where we found Kinzo, but what about the other 4? First, early that morning, in various places throughout the mansion, a total of 6 corpses, including grandfather and all the servants, had been found one after another. Can I get some details? First, grandfather had been in the boiler room, completely burnt, figured. The servants had died, each shut up in the rooms throughout the mansion that had magic circles drawn on them. The cause of death for the servants was uncertain, but according to Dr. Nanjo's diagnosis, there was a high likelihood they had been stabbed by something like a spear. Or possibly shot with a gun. That was why the adults started arming themselves with Winchesters. And what made the situation even more chaotic was the fact that the telephones had become unusable. It was unknown if lightning had caused them to break down or if the culprit had broken them. At any rate, since contact with the outside had been cut off, we couldn't reach the police. So until the typhoon passes and the boat comes tomorrow morning, we'll have to protect ourselves. After all, Rokkenjima is now isolated by the typhoon, and just as we're stuck on the island, so is the culprit. It seemed that the adults had stayed up all night holding the family conference in the mansion's dining hall the whole time. And yet the crime had occurred in the mansion. So right when the adults had been in an uproar over money, the murderer had been killing under the same roof. They say Aunt Nazi has been strict about locking the doors and windows at the night. And yet some suspicious person had entered and left the mansion. The adults had decided that the inside of the mansion was too large to be safe. So they had pulled out the guns and moved to the guest house where we had been. Which brings us to the present. George Aniki had begged to see Shannon-chan's corpse, but the adults had refused, saying that he mustn't do so until the police arrived. That was just because they wanted to seal all the rooms to preserve the scene. After all, the culprit who killed 6 people was wondering about the mansion. For the Ushiramiya family right now, the mansion that should have been their home was now a danger zone that an unknown murderer could enter and leave at will. After all, it's a huge mansion. There are plenty of blind spots in dark places, and it's too vast to guarantee absolute safety with this number of people. Relatively speaking, the guest house was much smaller. It had 2 above-ground stories, something like 10 or so rooms. Apparently, it had originally been constructed to serve as a small hotel, as part of the plan to turn this island into a resort. So it was easier to know what was going on everywhere inside it, and it'd be easier to keep safe. It made for a good place to hole up in. Also, it was extremely likely that this mass murder of 6 people was a game. After all, the culprit had proclaimed so in a letter. I heard that a Western-style envelope with the family crest, just like the one Maria claimed to have received from Beatrice yesterday, had been found in the boiler room where grandfather's corpse had been discovered. This was what the letter said. So that there will be no misunderstandings. The game I seek is for everyone to try and solve the riddle of the epitaph, not for you to try and catch me. If you don't solve the riddle, the pitiful sacrifices will further increase in number. It would be wiser to spend your time solving the epitaph instead of searching for me. If no one can solve the riddle, no one will survive. If a person appears who can miraculously solve it, I will give them all the gold of the Golden Land, the Ushiramiya family headship, and all of my power. I was the one who succeeded the Ushiramiya family headship after Kinzo-sama. I look forward to seeing who will succeed to that headship after me. The Golden Witch, Beatrice. This riddle of the epitaph was that thing. That strange epitaph written by the portrait of the witch on display in the hall of the mansion. Grandfather was the one who had it written, and the person who solved it would, supposedly, give him the inheritance or the hidden gold or something like that. Ever since it was first put on display there several years ago, the relatives had secretly tried to solve that riddle, despite saying on the surface that the whole idea was silly. However, up until today, no one had solved it. We were once again being urged to solve that unintelligible riddle, and this time, we were faced with the threat that we'd all be killed if we didn't solve it. If that wasn't a game, what else could it be?